Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the Friar Talk podcast. We're going to be going live today. We know the Padres are kind of a touchy subject right now with how really abysmal this collapse has been, how devastating it's been for us fans, and it really is probably going to go down as one of the biggest collapses in MLB history, and it will certainly go down as the most disappointing season in franchise history. So, with that being said, we're pretty much going to be talking a little bit about this Dodgers series and then answering whatever questions you guys have. It doesn't even have to be about the Padres; it could be about whatever. Just because I know, Chase and I both know how hard it is to talk about the Padres right now.
Yeah.
But Chase, first matchup. I know you Darvish is going for us, and I don't know who's going for
Bueller.
them. Bueller, right? Yeah, I figured it was Bueller. Assholes.
Hey, they're still fighting for the division, man.
Yeah,
And we're fighting to finish above 500. What a season!
Yeah.
What a season!
We were supposed to be competing with them, not with the Rockies.
It's like 2019 all over again.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. Because I remember that season, we were 45 and 45 at one point, only a couple games back of the second wild card spot. I think it was only like 5 games back of the second wild card spot, and we were pumped. Maybe a little less games back. I don't quite remember. We were pumped because it was barely anything. And right now, we're like almost 10 games back with an even better team. So
are we not past 10 games back yet? I'm surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if we were 10 games back.
Right.
Honestly, are we?
9, right at 9.
So it'll be 10 today.
Yes.
What's up, Ace? I see you change your little logo to Herbie instead of Tatis. It's about that time.
We were talking about that last time.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about that time, man. Good stuff. Good stuff from the Chargers this week. But
Engler does need to say bye-bye, but it's not going to happen. It solely relies on Preller, and I feel like Preller's going to be talking to Bochy and be like, hey, this job's open if you want it, but if we can't get you, understand, we're good with our manager right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I want to ask you, I'll go first after I ask you, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that Preller will hire a veteran manager? And who would you prefer? I know you're a Washington guy. I think for me, and also one last thing, if it were to be a rookie manager, who would you want? I don't know who the rookie manager candidates are. I've seen some things on Will Venable, which it's weird because like he's pretty young, so he's gonna be he'll probably be pretty developed, and I know he's been I don't know what system he's in right now, but
Rangers. He's a bench coach on the Rangers, I believe. I think he's a bench coach on the Rangers.
Oh, that just fit perfectly, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But he's young. He was.
My bad. He's bench coach for the Red Sox.
Oh, that's pretty good. I'll take that. But I mean, also, I think I'd much rather have a experienced manager. And if it is a rookie manager, Will Venable is a guy just because I think just like, he's not going to be as respected as a experienced manager already is, such as the guys we talked about in our last video, Washington and Bochy. But, at least he's going to demand some respect, having played at the major league level, had some success, been around the game for a while, been in a good organization with the Red Sox. And I think, the difference between him and Tingler would be night and day in terms of how the players feel about it. I don't know how the players feel about playing for a guy that, hasn't played at the major league level. I don't know what level of baseball he got to. But yeah, Chase, what's your opinions on it? And for the record, I would rather go with, I think Washington is more realistic, and I think Bochy is the dream.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. Though, if I had to rate 1 through 10 on Tingler getting rid of Tingler and not hiring a rookie manager, I'd have to go probably a 2. I don't think he's going to fire Tingler, and if he does, I doubt it's going to be any of the guys that we mentioned. We'd love for it to be Bruce Bochy, but that could just be a fever dream to us. Ron Washington was a final managerial candidate 2 years ago, and they went with the rookie manager. So what makes us think that they won't do that again? I don't know how I feel. I know it would kind of be like a reunion with Will Venable. He He might be good. He's on the Red Sox right now. The Red Sox have a pretty good team going there. I don't know if they're still battling for playoffs or if they're in it right now. But I feel like if you're going to go and get a rookie manager, I think one, it has to be an ex-player. You can't continue doing these guys that Andy Green played, but he never really had a successful career in the MLB. I would prefer it to be a successful guy who was a catcher. I don't know how you feel about that. If I was going to pick a coach and it happened to be a player, I want it to be a catcher. Because one, he would understand things from the defensive side, he would understand things from the pitching side and the hitting side. He would get practically a little bit of everything because he's involved in the infield, he's involved with the pitching staff, he's involved in the run game and how to prevent it. I feel like the catcher would probably have the most knowledge on the team about baseball in general. And being the leader on the field, basically telling everyone like, hey, this is what we're going to do in this situation. I feel like having a catcher turn into a manager, if we're going to go the rookie route, I want it to be an ex-catcher. I don't know how you feel about that, though.
You know what's crazy about that is that Bruce Bochy was an ex-catcher.
See?
and when you said that, I was like, dang, like, you're kind of right. Like, catchers have a good reputation in this kind of stuff. And I see stuff, Bad Cocaine Habit a few years ago. And I see, has Washington ever won a championship? Washington went to the championship with the Rangers in 2010 and 2011. I believe he won the 2011 one. So, he's taking some teams to the World Series. He's with the Braves right now. I don't know what he is. He's a third base coach, I believe. And he's also probably working with the infielders. I know he has a history of doing that. And if you look at their infield, we talked about Ron Washington yesterday as a potential candidate. You look at their infield, Ozzy Albies, Freddie Freeman, Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley, who I used to say sucked, but definitely is having a good year. Defensively, especially, you got to think of the things that maybe Ron Washington can help Tatis with. I like I said before, I think this year was kind of an outlier with all those errors he made. I don't think he's going to be a guy that makes 10 plus errors a year, but I think he's a good candidate. Washington won a championship, I believe, in 2011 with the Rangers. So,
And Chip, I understand that, but I don't think Ron Washington would be one of those guys. He's an older guy. He's been in the league quite a few years. He's been around multiple teams. If he's going to take the control of the ship, I don't think he's going to let Preller really affect his decisions. I think he's going to be like, look, I've been in the game longer than you've been a GM. I know what I'm doing. Let me run things my way. These are the guys I want. We need a manager like that. We need some manager that has control of the coaches he wants, of the lineup. We need a manager that has some sort of control over that and not just Preller, kind of like an extension of Preller. We've seen how GM managers work. We saw it. I'm going to go outside baseball here, but look how the Texans were ran with Bill O'Brien. You can't have a GM and head manager, coach, whatever you want to call them. You can't have it. You have to have a difference of opinion.
That's basically what AJ Preller's been trying to do. And with us talking about Washington, we're not saying we prefer Washington over Bochy. I'm sure some people do, but me, of course, I prefer Bochy. But I just don't know if it will happen. I don't know how realistic it is. Like I said, it's always just a pipe dream. You look at all things in sports, everything's kind of just a pipe dream. Nobody wanted Tingler, so I don't know how realistic it is we get Bochy. I think it could happen. I'm not ruling it out. And it's not crazy to think that it will happen. I mean, the media is hyping it up. We're all as fans hyping it up. And us as fans, I know a lot of people think it will happen. I just don't know how it's going to go, mainly because AJ, like for those who listen to the interview, it was said that AJ didn't let Tingler hire anyone of his, like anyone he wanted. Tingler didn't get a say in who was around him in the coaching staff. It was all Preller. So Chase has mentioned it before. Tingler, or maybe Matt too, Tingler and Preller were one mind, which makes you think Preller wants control of what happens on a day-to-day basis on the field also, with the lineups, pitching staff, whatever it is, bullpen. And that's why we're a little hesitant to be so confident in AJ being willing to give the reins to Bruce Bochy or Ron Washington. So I don't know. I'm not very confident. I feel like they're gonna end up hiring a rookie manager, unfortunately, but wouldn't be surprised if it's Bochy or Washington.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, if you're gonna go the rookie manager route, let it be a successful ex catcher, man. They have knowledge on the game like no one else. They practically do a little bit of everything. Normally catchers at the end of their career, if they don't catch, they play first base. Mauer would be a great guy. Off the top of my head, if he is willing to manage, I'd probably let him manage the Padres. That's just like he played infield. He was a great hitter, so we can always bring that to the club. The only problem is, one, how he managed the team, and two, how much control would Preller exert over him.
And that's the thing. It's like, I think we're
doesn't matter who you get if they don't have any power.
Exactly. I think now we're starting to realize AJ is becoming a problem. And maybe, we don't know if everything we hear from the media is true. I don't believe everything we hear from the media. But the way we're looking at things is like, you go ahead and you look at that Mariners trade for Austin Nola. I think
pull it up.
Chase brought it up earlier. It was bad. Like, he traded, and this is my issue with with Preller, is that he just went based off instinct on what Austin Nola was doing at the time, and he traded for him for 30 games, and then this year he hits one home run, misses like, I don't know how many games he missed. So many games. 2 home runs? Oh, right. He just had one recently. 2 home runs. So, like, obviously that doesn't benefit us. Meanwhile, our first baseman is being god-awful. Their first baseman, Ty France, who was a former Padres, looking good. They have Matt Brash, who's going to be a top 100. He's going to enter as a top 100 prospect, making his debut today. Taylor Trammell still looks like he's got a bunch of potential. Luis Torrens is becoming an everyday player for them. Like, that was a huge mess up. Mike Clevenger, I love Mike Clevenger, but we gave up a lot to get him. We're not getting anything in return, at least this year. Cal Quantrill put himself in the Cy Young candidate voting, by the way. A lot of things have gone wrong for AJ Preller, kind of looking like 2015 all over again, where took a lot of shots and missed a lot. So,
and that was my one fear about this year. Is it going to be 2015 again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That was my fear too.
So, for those who are wondering, Cal Quantrill has played in 40 games, has nearly 150 pitches, or 150 innings, 121 strikeouts, a 1.18 WHIP, and a 2.89 ERA. He has started 22 games this year. I can't say any of our guys are above 150 innings. Let me check. Darvish might, but he still missed time and he was getting rocked a little bit. Let's see.
The only one I could think of that might be a for sure is Musgrove.
Musgrove, yeah, he's definitely above that. Darvish is at 162. Okay, so that's above it. Where is Musgrove at? Oh, there he is. Musgrove's probably closer to. He's at 176. Snell's not there. No, Paddock isn't there. Who's been our fifth? Weathers isn't there.
Weathers sure isn't there. Lamet isn't there. Warren won't be there. Like, there's so many guys we traded. Like, the guy we got through 0 innings. And I mean, you can't predict injury. I do think Clevenger's going to come back next year and be a stud. Like, I think of all of our pitchers, maybe not named Musgrove, I think he's the safest to say, like, I'm confident in him coming back and being a force to be reckoned with. Darvish is going to need a lot of tuning up this offseason in terms of how he's handled not being able to pitch with the sticky stuff. I think at first people were accusing, at least some of Padres like us, like saying it's unfair that we're like, I guess accusing him of supposedly cheating when we didn't really say he cheated, but it's scary when you're not able to pitch with sticky stuff, and he's going to have to make some pretty big adjustments over the offseason to adjust to that. Blake Snell, I think like he pitched so fantastic, and I don't know how like he just switched it like that. Maybe it was just he hated Rothschild that much.
Maybe it
But
was a mental thing. Like,
yeah,
well,
that too for
we
sure.
knew we knew it was the changeup for a minute.
Oh yeah.
His the whole video that I saw, which we called the changeup thing before the video came out. But the second thing is that he wasn't moving his hands early enough. He was really had it delayed to the point where he was trying to use his arm like a whip, and it wasn't just fast enough, so everything was sailing.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, he couldn't locate. So I think he finally fixed that, ironically, after Rothschild left. But yeah.
Yeah, man. So Preller's missed and fired a lot. Obviously, Jake and Musgrove are his best acquisitions for sure. Trent Grisham, we thought he'd be better than what he was, but Trent Grisham definitely did not produce the second half of the season. I would say that was really disappointing to see. He looked so bad at the plate. Just there was nothing to be confident in him. But I mean, we can only hope he's going to bounce back next year. I do think he'll bounce back next year. He's already a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, so we just need him to be able to produce more consistently at the plate. But realistically, though, Chase, there will definitely be some spots open next year.
Oh yeah.
The first one I can think of, surprisingly, is not first base. We know first base should be open though. It's going to be left field. I don't know. I don't think Tommy Pham will be back. So, what do you think about whether it's free agency or in the farm? Who do you think can fill that?
So actually, there might be 2 roles open next year if the DH comes. So then we have that role open too. So they'll probably just throw Nola in it. Hopefully, they throw Nola in it and they bring Campusano up. But for left field, we have a few in-house. We have a few in-house options. Yeah. We have Jorge Oña, who I think is hurt right now, so he hasn't been called up or anything. But we know he's played left field. He's had some degree of success in the short time he was there. He displayed his power. He displayed that he can hit in big moments a couple times. I don't think Hassel's ready. We have, I think it's Ue Rosario. There's another guy in the minor leagues that might be able to push a shot to be like, hey, I'm ready for the MLB. But other than that, maybe like a cheap pickup that has the potential to be more. And the first guy that pops into my mind, I don't know if you like him or not, is Jorge Soler.
Okay. Power bat, big power bat.
Big power bat. And we struggled with power when we needed to. So I thought, hey, you know what? He could be a DH. He could be left field. Let me see what other free agents are there, and I'll read you the.
I got the free agents up right here.
Oh, okay. Read them off then.
So I think I've seen a lot of people talk about this one. I do not think this is very realistic. Nick Castellanos.
No,
I do not think he'll be leaving the Reds. That's going to cost a lot of money. So I think some realistic ones. I don't know the deal with AJ Pollock, but Kyle Schwarber, Jock Peterson.
No.
Mark Canha.
I like Mark.
I like Mark Canha. I would really like if we brought on Mark Canha. Adam Duvall.
No. He is post home run derby rookie year Judge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that is the best comparison I can give him.
I agree. Other than that, though, there's not really many intriguing left field options. I think Mark Canha is I like Mark Canha a lot.
Let's see. Corey Dickerson, maybe
Right.
Jake Lamb. I like Jake Lamb. Then you can also get into, some of the center fielders. Starling Marte is going to be a free agent. Chris Taylor, though I think he probably re-signs with the Dodgers.
Too valuable.
Cameron Maybin's still in the league.
Wow, that is a name.
That is a name.
From way back when.
Ender Inciarte. And so those are the only guys that I can see that are like really worth it. Maybe Michael A. Taylor, but he's like borderline Billy Hamilton.
So are we set on? I like Canha. I really
I like
Canna.
Canna. I like Marte. So let's look at right fielders. They got Castellanos, which is definitely no.
Mm-hmm.
VCL, Garcia. There's Conforto. That might be an interesting option. Blackman, Calhoun. I don't like Dexter Fowler. Steven Souza Jr. I like. Soler. I like. Eaton might be a nice option. And Gregory Polanco.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's also the possibility of plugging CJ Abrams out there if he's healthy enough.
Yeah, but I don't think he has had any reps in the outfield yet. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that scares me. And if
Yeah.
we're going to look at designated hitters, just free agents, we got Cruz,
Nelson Cruz.
JD Martinez. I swear to God, if we sign Mitch Moreland, I don't know what I'm going to do.
All hope is lost.
Chris Davis and Pablo Sandoval, which I'm not even going to consider those last two options.
Yeah. Did you? Okay, I've seen, and I'm gonna bring this up mainly because I always see it on Twitter. Did you see those comments about what Shohei Ohtani said? And I see Chip Rock's bringing it up right now, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
No, what
to
do you say?
Shohei said, "I love basically about the Angels. I love being here. I love this organization. I love the fans, but more importantly, I want to win. Like I'll leave it at that." When they were asking him about a contract extension, because he's not extended.
See,
So
I think if I'm Ohtani right now, I might sign a 1, maybe 2-year deal at most for the Angels right now because it looks like they want to fix that pitching problem because they know they have the offense. They have Rendon when healthy. They have Trout. They have Jared Walsh. They have David Fletcher, and they got Ohtani. That's a pretty solid 5 guys.
Yeah.
Their only problem is pitching. You have Iglesias coming out of the bullpen, which is great. But who are their starters? I can't name 5.
Well, they were having bullpen days like 3 every 5 days or 4 every 5 days. So you're absolutely, and remember they drafted nothing but pitchers.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pitchers in this free agency that they could probably pick up for cheap and maybe like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna really, really fix this. But if I'm Ohtani, I'm only signing like a 1 or 2 year deal. And then if they can't be like, yeah, you know what? We can't win with the best player in baseball and probably the second best player in baseball. I don't know what to tell you. I'd sign a 2-year deal with an opt-out option after 1.
That's smart. I don't think I would re-sign at all, though, to be honest.
Yeah, but I would just because you don't often get to play next to probably the best player ever in NBA history. Mm-hmm. And if you can somewhat make a change and be the MVP over the MVP of like the last decade, that's something special. So and they could, if they had the pitching, they could make some scary runs for year in and year out.
So basically, you would want to sign the deal just because you feel like if they make the right changes, they could be a contender. Like you'd be confident that they'd be a contender.
Yeah, and even then, I would even then, Ohtani would still be the best pitcher on the team, if not the best bat on the team. And him and Trout, I would probably take them anytime. And if I had a playoff team, I'd want those 2 first picks on my team, no matter what.
Easily. And I know we're a Padres channel. We could talk about Tatis and Machado, but guys, Shohei could pitch and hit 40 bombs. And Mike Trout is possibly the greatest player ever. So,
we love Tatis.
Yeah.
But Mike Trout is. Here's Tatis. Here's Mike Trout. He's just a little bit higher.
And that might change with time, of course. Tatis got time, but right now, Mike Trout's that dude. And I know he's always hurt. You could say he's always hurt, but when healthy.
Prime Mike Trout is a 10-WAR player.
Easily. Just an absolute stud. I see Greg's comment says, give Abrams preseason and left, he would be okay. That's kind of what I was thinking too, just get him a lot of outfield reps. I said that about Ha-Seong Kim too, because we keep, people were bashing Ha-Seong Kim. I don't know why. But give him a lot of spring training reps, get CJ Abrams out there in the outfield, give him a lot of at-bats. Maybe if you don't want Tatis getting a lot of game action, you can have him play shortstop sometimes, because he's going to be a shortstop. I think I want to say they're selling him being a shortstop.
If not second.
Something, I don't know what they're going to have. I think, like he said, I want to be shortstop. I don't know what Preller thinks, and ultimately this is going to be up to Preller. But if you don't want Tatis getting a lot of preseason reps just because you know what his shoulder is kind of messed up and it doesn't seem like he's going to get surgery. You can get CJ Abrams out there in left. You can put Hassan Kim at short to get him some at bats at the plate also, and I think that'd be beneficial for both of them. And there's a lot of guys we got to give at bats to. Robert Hassel should get some spring training at bats. Hassan Kim, CJ Abrams, but there's gonna be a lot of guys. Joshua Mears, yeah. Mackenzie Gore should get a lot of reps on the mound. Same with Ryan Weathers. So, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do in the offseason, especially with Abrams coming off of a leg injury.
Yeah. Well, my thing is like I don't want Abrams coming into spring training and be like, okay, wow, now I'm playing left field. Make it clear in the offseason so he can work on fly balls, he can work on reads, he can work on hitting the cutoff man. Because we saw they're like, oh my God, Marcano, he's a second baseman, but oh my God, he's killing it right now, and we kind of need to find somewhere for him to hit. They just threw him out in the outfield, and we saw how well that worked during spring training.
Yeah.
It didn't. He still made errors coming up with the major leagues. He misread balls. You need to give him more time than just spring training. You need to give him at least like a whole off season to adjust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ha-Seong Kim deserves that. He needs Abrams. I think will be fine. I don't think he needs many. Like that dude's a stud. He's going to be a star. I think so. I don't know if he needs that much exposure in the outfield. Like I think he can play either corner outfield spots and be legit. I mean, he throws 93 to 95, runs like the wind, and he's just a stud at the plate also. So I think a transition for him to the outfield would be easy because I mean, unless they're set on moving Tatis, I can't see another spot other than maybe second and Cronenworth could play first. I can see another spot where he would go. So
he could. I would even be fine with him just DHing.
That's why the DH is going to be so beneficial next year because the whole pitcher thing is so stupid. No one wants to see a pitcher hit.
I used to be one of those people, and God, it's so boring to watch. It's so disadvantageous to a team to have the pitcher hit. You kind of take away from like a pitcher could be balling out, but oh my God, it's a tied game. It's coming into the 6th inning. They're throwing absolute gas, but you're going to take them out because you don't know if you're going to get this chance to score again. Right. And then now you're relying on the bullpen, which the Padres have done too much this year. So I think having the DH helps the Padres more than it hurts them.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? Because I brought up earlier about how Tatis doesn't think he's going to need the surgery this offseason. What do you think of that?
Get the surgery.
Yeah.
You can rehab it. You can try the PRP therapy. But what you have is a partially torn labrum. And for a baseball player, that is not good. Yeah. It is not. You need to know that your shoulder is not going to pop out of its socket when swinging a bat, when taking a ground ball or diving. Those are all aspects to your game that makes you such a special player. You can hit the ball for power. You can make those diving catches. You dive head first into bases because you're so fast. You do those little swim moves to get out of tags. Make sure that shoulder is not going to pop out.
Yeah.
Just get the surgery. You may be a little late into the season, but guess what? Then you don't have to worry about it.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I want him to get it too. I don't know what they have to have some sort of plan over the offseason. If he's not going to get the surgery, they have to have some sort of plan to try and keep him as healthy as possible. Try and get him to play a whole 162. Or at least be present for a whole 162. They have to find a way to be able to do that if they don't plan on him getting the surgery. I honestly don't know why he doesn't plan on getting it. Could be because supposedly, I'm not entirely sure about this. I don't have any stats to back it up, but some people supposedly have time, like they have issues coming back from it or coming back to form after the type of surgery he would need, is what I've heard. but I'm not entirely sure if that's a true statement or if that's a fact. Just kind of rumor. But like you said, it'd be great knowing that he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Like I said, though, I don't know how it would affect his performance. I wouldn't mind him having to miss a little bit of the season. I think this team has enough depth, and honestly, honestly, I think it'd be a little beneficial to be able to get Kim some at bats. Maybe have Abrams start at the major league level, but. Only time will tell because it supposedly, if in these last 6 games, knock on wood, if it happens again, he's definitely getting it. But he said on an interview, I forgot who it was with. He said on an interview that as of now, he doesn't plan on getting it. Preller and the organization's with him on that. So only time will tell if he gets it or not. But I see this one right here. Y'all think Tatis is going to win the MVP? The only way he's going to do that is if he puts up monstrous numbers over the last 6 games.
My opinion is if the Phillies sneak their way into playoffs, I think they're back 2.5 games. If the Phillies sneak their way into playoffs, he doesn't make it. Yeah, they're back 2.5 games.
Here's my thing.
They're playing the Braves right now.
Yeah.
And the Phillies have bases loaded in the top of the 9th with 1 out.
Are they winning or are they down?
They're down.
How much?
2.
If they make you guys,
if Harper was coming up and they won this game, that'd make it a really hard.
It'd be his, yeah. It'd be his.
But right now, he's not coming up for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's not up for another 6 batters, so he could not get a chance at this game. And he just went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. But he still has over a 300 average and over 1,000
high OPS. That's the whole thing with me is why I don't think Tatis is going to win it unless he goes on a monstrous tear these last couple games. His OPS fell down. Under 1,000.
He's still right there. He's
still close, yeah. And I mean, but honestly, I wouldn't even go with Harper. As surprising as it is, if we're going just based off stats, I don't know how many games he's missed. Juan Soto has been significantly better than almost both of them. Maybe not significantly better in terms of WAR than Tatis, but I think at least in B WAR, I don't know about F WAR. I think F WAR also, he has at least 1 higher WAR than Bryce Harper. He went on a streak where he had like a 600 on base percentage over his last 8 to 10 games, something like that.
He's played 147 games.
Bro.
A 320 average, 29 home runs, 93 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, and a 1,016 OPS.
Dude. That guy's been crazy.
The only problem is the Nationals are hot garbage.
Garbage.
They are an absolute dumpster fire. You can watch them and love them.
I know.
They just suck.
But the Angels sucked too for Mike Trout. That's the only thing that's making me think realistically, neither of these teams could make the playoffs. Tatis, and the thing, if you're going to bring that up, the thing with Tatis, we only won 11 of our last 30 games. We collapsed majorly, and that was with him in the lineups. So, with that argument, Tatis definitely can't win it.
No. You bring up Mike Trout, however, Juan Soto does not do the thing Mike Trout does on the bases in the outfield.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Well, to be fair, Tatis has 16 more stolen bases and 2 more RBIs. He just has a little worse OPS and average.
That's the only thing holding me back with Tatis is that, of course, people are going to bring up the stupid defensive errors too. I don't even think that should matter. But in terms of WAR, I saw a stat that over the last couple years, the leader in F WAR normally wins it. And I think it's
because the FanGraphs WAR is more accurate.
It's accurate, yes. It's better. It's definitely better than Baseball Reference. The leader in F WAR normally wins it. I think that's Soto right now. And I think second is Tatis. Or I forgot, but
yeah, it's just for Juan Soto, it's a hard argument because one, his team sucks. He doesn't run the bases the most. He doesn't have the best defense. He has a really good bat, though.
I honestly think he's the best hitter in baseball. all around.
I don't know if I can't agree with you there. Let me check here. Trey Turner makes a Vladimir Guerrero.
Oh yeah, he definitely put himself up there.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. There's got to be someone that I got.
He definitely put himself up there.
I'd even say Trey Turner too.
Trey Turner's a beast, yeah, of course. He has a high batting average, gets on base a lot.
But he also hits like at least 15 home runs a year.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I think he's the league leader in hits now again, right?
Yeah.
Or he's been the league leader in hits, past the guy we traded for. I mean, I don't really think there's a wrong answer to whoever wins MVP. I think the most compelling argument for Tatis is that basically since that Dodgers series in LA that we were up, or that we beat them 3-1 games in LA, ever since then, except for that little stretch that him and DeGrom were battling for it, ever since then, Tatis has been the leader for the MVP award. Up until Bryce Harper got to his hot stretch, Tatis was the leader. So that long stretch definitely is a huge. I think it should be an advantage for Tatis. Those months, like it's really hard to maintain an MVP pace for those months, and he did it. Meanwhile, Bryce Harper put himself on the map, mid-August? And Juan Soto just recently put himself on the map.
Okay, the only thing, to be fair, if Bryce Harper got hot, let's say mid-August, but pushed his team into playoffs because of how hot he is, if the Phillies come back and win this game and win this series to put themselves in the playoffs, I can't argue that Tatis deserves it more than Harper at that point.
Yep.
I love Tatis, but even with Tatis in the lineup, they were still probably colder than Antarctica at the plate, and Harper pushed his team into playoffs. And we were up. We were in the wild card spot.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Oh, Phillies lost? Oh,
Phillies lost.
So now they're 3.5 back. How many games? They're 4 games. They have a chance until the end of season. Because let's see what the Phillies play. I know they're playing the Braves right now. They got Braves for the next 2, and then they got Miami.
Yeah.
So they could very well make the playoffs. Who do the Braves play? Phillies and Mets. The Mets are a way better team than the Marlins.
Dude, us and the Mets,
they still got Stroman. They got a couple of guys that can play baseball. You
know that one picture where there's the 2 hands like joining to, or what about the one where it's the Bloods and Crips with the 2 bandanas? That's us and the Mets with how bad we sucked.
We are 4 games better than the Mets right now. They're 4 games under. There are only 4 games under 500, but they're 10 games back in their division. We are at 500 and we're 24 games. Oh my God, the poor Diamondbacks are 52 games back.
Oh. Dude, remember though, like
they're not even the worst team in baseball. Baltimore by 1 game.
No, dude. Those would be some pretty good games. Baltimore against Arizona. Those would be like $1 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? But, we're talking about how much of a disappointment the Padres season is. Dude, the Mets might be even worse. Because they had
I can't say that. And they really only added Stroman. And even when the trade deadline came around, I don't think they were in first place. They were trying to make a wild card spot.
They had the lead at first place for 130 days. That is the longest time of holding a lead in first place, and ending up with a losing record.
Yeah.
So like
the DeGrom injury.
DeGrom went down. That one hurt. Yep. And they lost. They got Walker, Carrasco, Stroman, DeGrom was their ace. Didn't have Syndergaard. Haven't had Syndergaard for forever.
Lucchesi, bro. Lucchesi was
Luke Casey, yeah.
Yeah, Lucchesi, man.
Traded for Baez, got Lindor. Like, I
Lindor
mean,
signed a huge deal. I mean,
and he was bad this year. He was bad.
was he that bad? I know he started to heat up, but
if he started to heat up, then maybe not. But I know at one point that dude was.
I know he was like hitting under 200 for a solid like 30 games.
Hitting 231, 228. Sorry, with only 18 bombs.
All right, breaking news. Preston Mattingly, the Padres coordinator of Major League Advanced Scouting and Game Planning, is expected to be named the Phillies farm director. Woohoo!
Wow.
He hit 229 this year with a 730 OPS, Lindor.
Jesus, that is pretty. I don't know what they gave up for him, but that is bad.
Yeah, it's
Well,
a hard argument between those two.
Oh yeah. Well, with that being said, I think it's going to end our stream for everyone that's going to watch the game. Enjoy the game. Hopefully, the Padres come out with a victory in this one, especially against the Dodgers. That'd be fun, even if it doesn't mean anything. And for those who aren't going to watch because the Padres are pretty much they're out already. Enjoy your day. But thank you guys for listening in, and we'll talk to you guys soon.